the biggest headlines from the US this morning. Donald Trump has signed an executive order softening select auto tariffs that were implemented just earlier this month. According to the new tariff, 25% tariff on imported vehicles remains. Under the new order, however, additional 25% tariffs on auto parts that were set to start by May 3rd will also still take effect, but vehicles that go through final assembly in the US will be able to qualify for partial reimbursements on those levies for 2 years. Now, parts-related reimbursements include potential offsets of an amount equal to 3.75% of the value of a US-made car that's assembled before May 1st, 2026. After that, the reimbursement cap is lowered to 2.5% of the car's value until April 30th, 2027. Now, the administration has said it calculated those rates by applying a 25% duty to 15% of the value of a US assembled vehicle in the first year and a 25% duty to 10% of that value in the second year.
Alright, then that's a very important update coming in. Moving on then, meanwhile, the US president also said that trade talks with India on tariffs were coming along great and expects both sides to strike a deal soon. These comments come after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the US was very close on India. Do remember that US Vice President J.D. Vance also met last week with Prime Minister Modi. Let's also go across and listen in to that excerpt.
We just wanted to help them during this little transition, short term. And during this little, if they can't get parts, it has to do with a very small percentage. If they can't get parts, we didn't want to penalize them. And they have a 1 year period and then they have an extra year, but it's for a very, very small part of the car. But basically, they're paying 25%. India's coming along great. I think we'll have a deal with India. The Prime Minister, as you know, was here 3 weeks ago, and they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
Alright, then that's key commentary coming in from US President Donald Trump. In fact, in terms of key commentary at the bottom of your screen, in fact, you can see some other comments as well from him, because he's also talking about how India, France and China officials are coming to make a deal. Other than that, he's also talked about how if trade negotiations take too long, he's just going to be setting the price, and also talked about aluminum and steel tariffs that are going to be protecting the bedrock of the country. So that's some commentary coming in from US President Donald Trump. Also mentioned that he's going to be making a fair deal with China on trade. So, Kanishka, lots to take a look at in terms of the headlines and commentary.
Well, absolutely. That's some key commentary coming in as far as India is concerned. But now moving on, Trump has also resumed his criticism of the Federal Reserve, that claiming that Chair Jerome Powell was not doing a good job and that he knew more about interest rates. Now, speaking at a rally in Warren, Michigan, commemorating his first 100 days in office, Trump did not mention Powell by name, but largely hinted at his past criticism of the Fed chair.
Alright, then moving on, let's take a look at some other news and updates. Meanwhile, reports in fact also suggest that China has waived the 125% tariff on ethane imports from the United States imposed earlier this month among a group of other products that have been granted exemptions. In fact, the move is going to be easing pressure on Chinese firms that import US ethane for petrochemical production, as well as provide an outlet for the natural gas liquid, a byproduct of US shale gas production.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.